Attention gamers, I'm back with another video game recommendation for a video game to get remastered. There was this video game of Lego called Lego Lord of the Rings. It's where you get to play as all your favorite characters throughout every movie that's been put into a trilogy in this game. You get to play as Frodo, and the rest of his friends. But in the Fellowship of the Ring, as Gandalf was coming, Frodo had to go to the Prancing Pony with Samwise Gamgee. And in this game you have to avoid the Black Riders on the road. And once you but as you're trying to get away, you then run into one, and that means you start running from it. And when you've outrun him, you jump on to Buckleberry Ferry, and once you're on it, you're on the run. Once you're on it, you get that far and go to the nearest crossing of Brandywine Bridge. It's 20 miles away from the Shire. And what they have to do, but once they arrived at the Prancing Pony, there is one problem when they got there. Gandalf did not approach. That's because he had a bit of a problem. He was captured by Saruman, and he realized that he secretly betrayed him, and he refused to join Saruman's side for Sauron. And he realized, but once Gandalf was captured, he made sure to send Aragorn, a ranger who is good at tracking them. And he got there first. But when Frodo mistakenly put on the ring, he heard Sauron talking to him. And then, once he found out the whole thing, he had to run. For it was up to Aragorn to keep them safe and help them escape on their journey. But then, as they went to hide from the ring wraiths on the Tower of Amunsun, there is one problem. They spotted them, and once they defeated them, Frodo was stabbed by a Morgul blade, and Arwen the elf showed up in time to help him and get him to her father, which was Elrond in Arendelle. And it was nearby from where they were at. And when Arwen got him on her horse, she rode really fast with him. And then later, once she made it to her father's house, he was safe. But then when and that's when Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli all decided to team up with them, and even Prince Boromir, who was gladly to help them. And what happened? They had to they have to take the ring back to throw it back into the fiery chasm of Mount Doom and destroy it from whence it came. And only Frodo could do it. But then what he did after when they went through the mines of Moria, they had to escape the Balrog. And once they did, they ended up hiding out in the woods of Lothlorien. But they lost Gandalf. They thought Gandalf had died. But as Galadriel showed Frodo the mirror of what would happen if he failed to stop Sauron in time. The Shire would all be burned down and left in ruins. After when they defeated the Uruk-hai, they lost Boromir. And once Frodo was on his own, it was up to the rest of them to be on their own also. But in the Two Towers, which was next, it was up to Merry and Pippin to convince the Ents that they have to go to war against Isengard. And up to Aragorn and Legolas and Gimli to go against to release them to help convince the King Éomer to get going. But later, Frodo, Gollum, and Sam were captured by Faramir. But Gandalf returned as Gandalf the White, not Gandalf the Grey. But after when they make it to Rohan, Gandalf drives out Saruman out of the mind of King Éomer. They make refuge for Helm's Deep, but little did they know that they were walking into a trap set by Saruman, because there was a weak spot, and they tried to kill the orc that was going to blow it up, but it failed. And it was up to, once they broke through, it was up to them to figure out a way to defeat the orcs once and for all. But then, when Éowyn's big brother showed up with Gandalf, they all attacked. There was a 10,000 orc army of the Uruk-hai, and they all needed help. But when the sun rose that high, it blinded them, and they all attacked them and killed them all. And after Faramir realizes the truth about his brother, he realized that his brother had died because he drew the one ring had drove his brother mad, and he tried to kill Frodo. And after that one, Isengard has been defeated by Treebeard and the other Ents, and the Uruk-hai destroyed for good. But then in the third game, the Return of the King, the final one. In this game, it's where Frodo and Faramir are there together. But when Sam told him about how his brother died, they then encounter more trouble. Aragorn, Isildur's heir to the throne of Gondor, learns that there were a bunch of warriors that died that died and were cursed by Isildur. And the only way he could trust him, the King of the Dead could trust him, as if he was holding the sword of Narsil, holding the sword Narsil. But after when they go against after when he did they had the dead aboard pirate ship, and he gave him his word that he would release them after what, and he gave him the word that he would release them. But then later, when they encounter a whole army of Oliphants, people riding aboard Oliphants, came out of nowhere, and it was up to King Eowyn, King Eomer, and his niece Eowyn, and Eomer to fight those army of Oliphants. But it wasn't easy to kill Oliphants, because they were so giant that it wouldn't be easy to defeat them. But once this game, when you finally defeat them, when they came off, the dead, they all attacked and destroyed everything. They destroyed all of the enemies and everything. And after that, once they did, Aragorn let them go. But then next, as Frodo and the rest of them ended up in Mordor, something happened. Frodo thought he failed, but Sam had the ring, and he snuck in there and took out different orcs and destroyed them to catch up to Frodo. But when Frodo was about to get killed by one, he said he was going to kill him like a stuck pig. But Sam snuck up behind him and ran him through his heart and killed him. But then, after that, they all made it to Mordor. And after they made it, it was up to the final battle was coming up. And it was up to Frodo and Sam to go up to Mount Doom and throw the ring back into the fiery chasm from whence it came. Once this game has been, but apparently in this game, after you destroy the ring, Sauron is finally destroyed. And this game was a real classic, and I believe it deserves a remake for this generation. And I recommend you talk to people about it in person, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Bye for now, until next time I think of another video game recommendation to get remastered. Please remember to like and subscribe my channel.